Welcome back to Divorce Real Talk. Today's episode is not emotional, it's not soft, and it's not about venting. This is a chapter that separates people who survive divorce from people who rebuild even stronger. Because here's the truth, guys and girls, you don't rise to the level of your emotions, you fall to the level of your preparation. Divorce isn't just emotional, it's tactical, it's paperwork, it's leverage, and feelings don't win cases. Facts do. So I'll just take a minute to go over a quick personal story that during my divorce, I made a massive mistake at the beginning. I reacted emotionally instead of strategically. I over explained. I assumed that things would just work out. I thought because I was a good dad and a reasonable person, that would be enough. And it wasn't. What changed everything for me wasn't fighting harder, it was preparing better. And this took me a long time to realize. Okay. Today, I want to introduce you to my co host, Gio, and this is where Gio shines. Gio knows firsthand about the lack of preparation cost not just money, but custody time, credibility, and emotional stability. He says something that I love. He says, the one who plans like a CEO gets treated like the responsible parent. The one who reacts like a victim gets treated like the problem. Gio, welcome, my man. Let's break this down.
So I want to add to that because I know what a lot of people are going to be going through. The ones who react emotionally may even end up landing the first blow, right? When I coach people, I coach them to be like a boxer, right? They're always on their toes, they're always moving, they're always expecting the next shot, right? So it's always hands up, here we go, right? And as soon as you but what happens is a lot of people are going to say, "Yeah, but they did something, they took a low blow and whatever." Fine. So you take the first shot, it doesn't mean that the bout is over. It means that you have to be even more strategic as you move forward. Because the more that, as you listen to our shows, you plan, you determine what it is that you want, you're careful with who you let into your circle, you're careful with social media, you shut up in public, and then you go into your planning, it puts everything in your corner to try and win. And when we talk about winning, it's not about destroying your ex. It's about starting your next chapter, continuing your journey, and being able to find happiness. Because once you're divorced, once the dust settles, it's no longer about your ex. It's not about you having to show your ex that you're now happy. It's about you focusing on your happiness. It's about you focusing on your life. And, my story's been around for quite some time. Everybody knows my first divorce cost me $116,000. Three
Still broken.
years. I was making $40,000 a year. I had every side hustle possible. I was charged. There was a false protective order charge up against me where I didn't get to see my son for 3 months. I went through everything out of that roller coaster possible. And I decided to keep the focus. Because if I didn't keep the focus, I wouldn't have been able to go work 3, 4, 5, 6 side hustles. I wouldn't be able to stay focused on paying my attorney, on getting my son back. You have to stay as concentrated as possible, and everything is in the preparation. Everything is in the preparation.
What do you think the biggest mistake based on your experience of what people make in the first 30 days? So they just starts fresh, they're getting divorced, and what is that mistake that you commonly see? Is there any pattern there?
They underestimate their opponent.
Bingo.
They underestimate their opponent. Um, I don't think that they're ever going to do this. I don't think that they're ever going to do that. I don't think that they're capable of this. And it backfires so often, Matteo, that they don't. You have to be ready for anything and everything.
Mhm.
And I'm living that with clients now. I've been living that with clients from the beginning. You get to know people through different stages of a relationship. When you first start dating, you get to know them. But you're discovering each other. Then you move in together. Then you see how they are 24/7. You discover another part of them. Then you get married. Even though you're living together, you get married, you discover another part of them because now there's the ring, it's official, it's this and that. You discover another part of them. You have kids, you discover another part of them because now they're. But here's the thing, as you are discovering them, they are discovering themselves.
They're
Then
growing,
they're.
they're being influenced by people around them as they're growing.
Exactly. Then you go through a breakup and you discover another version of themselves.
One you never foreseen.
No, and the thing is, if that person is hurt, right? Hurt people. Then you never know what they're actually capable of, and they can end up coming after you and causing havoc. You need to be prepared. There is no excuse. There's a reason why this podcast is good even for healthy couples because it's I always use the example of you're a father, you're a pro, and this is my example. Okay, I'm a father, I have my son in shared custody, I work 80-90 hours a week. I know my son's school. I know my son's grades. I know my son's teachers. I know my son's friends. I know there is no excuse that I'll say I work, so therefore I don't need to know about my son. I know who his friends are. I know the teachers. I know the doctors. I know them all. All of it. There's no excuse.
Mhm. This was common, by the way, in our upbringing. I mean, my dad was working all the time. He didn't know what school I went to. Like he didn't know my teachers. He didn't know everything. This was very common. However, things have evolved over the years,
Things have
and
evolved, and look,
oh,
my school used to be 100 meters away from home, and my father didn't even know where the school was. My father saw it more important on his busy days as a travel agent to look at me and say, "Hey, do you want to come help me today?" Ah, here I am, like a little, like is it dad wants to bring me to work? Yes, please. And he used to look at my mom and say, "Mire, call the school or whatever it takes to get him out." He never called the school to say, "I'm taking my son out of school today for." No.
yeah.
So we're gonna get back to the heart of it. It's the devil is in the details. The devil is in the preparation.
When we talk about being financially prepared, in this chapter, you say that paper beats memory every time. Why is knowing your numbers so important?
You have to know what you might be losing.
Mhm.
You have to know what it's going to take for you to survive, and you got to know where you need to go get more money in order to make it across the next chapter. At the end of the day, in a marriage, both people should know absolutely everything. I I whole I wholeheartedly believe in monthly meetings where you sit down, you go through all the numbers, you go through all the details. You both and there's no excuse to working 80 hours a week and not knowing this stuff. You need to know that should the bomb drop tomorrow morning, what you need to do to survive. And folks, we are in the greatest era of money making ever. Ever. You get a lawyer that's going to cost you $2,000 a month, let's say, on average. You know how easy it is to do that in DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, Instacart? It's 10 nights a month.
Mhm.
It's 10 nights a month. You can go out and get that money.
Instead of wasting your time venting on social media, go and do that.
Instead of venting on social media, you could be out making money. There is no excuse anymore today to not have them. And man, you get what you pay for. We talk about choosing attorneys and choosing, your team and everything else. You get what you pay for. Nothing burns my ass more than hearing somebody say, well, a $5,000 retainer is too expensive. But what's at stake here? Because you go get that bargain basement attorney who's going to charge you a lot less. Oh, man. If they screw up, you don't get to say, excuse me, judge, I'd like to restart with a better attorney. You don't.
Mhm.
You need to know your money situation. You need to know your finances. You need to be able to do whatever it takes.
I I always tell people there's a price and a cost, and the price is what you pay for your services, and the cost is far more if you don't have the right representation. You're not organized. What is this going to cost you, not only financially, emotionally, with your children through that support? And look, custody language, you have to be very careful with that. That's a ticking time bomb. You have to be very careful.
The courts will not take pity on you for not having representation. You're held to the same standard as an attorney. If you get an attorney and they don't know what they're doing, I I spent time at a courthouse recently. I had to spend a day there with a client and hearing older couple talking and complaining about the attorney. And I was like, listen, I've got all day to wait. So I went up to him like, excuse me, like I'm a divorce coach. I work with family law attorneys. But well, my daughter has a court case today for custody. And her lawyer sent her an email to present to the judge because she's not available today. What do you mean? What do you mean? She's not available. I'm like, okay. I'm like, how did you hire her yesterday? Like, what? She's like, no, we've been working with her for 6 weeks. Okay. Going through like the story and this and that. And, I told him, I'm like, are you willing to invest a little bit of money today? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, are you willing to invest a little bit of money today? I went out and found, I'm in a courthouse for family law. You know what you find at a courthouse for family law, Matteo? You find
Hey,
family law
lawyers.
attorneys.
Of
So
course.
I'm analyzing, right? Because I'm certified in psychological profiles and communication. I'm trying to see that go getter, that one that's going to take something on a whim, right? Excuse me, sir. That couple over there, blah 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 blah. The lawyer's not here. They're going to go in, like the attorney just said here. Present. what would be your rate to just stand with them?
Mhm.
I'm like, and do a good enough job, they'll probably switch representation. Wow, look, he goes, we're all here. That's the same docket list, right? So you're not going to risk going into the court, two different courts at the same time. Finalized the price, made the introduction. Vamos con Dio. She was represented to get an extension rather than having to do it on her own.
Yeah.
This comes down to the selection of your attorney. For me, when I'm working with a law firm, I ask you, Matteo, do you have any court dates coming up? And I verify to see if there's availability on that day. Because if there's no availability with the law firm that you're calling, what is the point in signing you? So there's a lot of things that go into that process, right? It's in that selection. It's in that some attorneys, they just care about getting the money in and they don't care about what comes afterwards.
And judges absolutely respect preparation over emotion.
Always.
Always. You can go in there thinking, oh, this is emotional for me, and they're going to have some sympathy for me. And no, no, no. You need to be prepared.
I answered a post in a Facebook group the other day. My attorney tells me not to show any emotion in court. I don't know how to do it because I'm going through such a hard time. And So I answered back. I go, I'm a divorce coach. I work with attorneys. What you're saying isn't precise. You could be emotional. It can't take control of the situation. You could be emotional. It cannot be a distraction. You could be emotional, but you still need to be prepared. You could be emotional. You have to show that you can kind of keep it together. No one's blocking emotions. Where emotions start to hurt you is when you let it take over and you think that, I always tell people, first of all, your attorney is not your therapist. Find somebody else to deal with your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And the job of a judge is to remove the emotion and look at the law. Again, remove the emotion, look at the law, see who's better prepared. Because the other one who isn't crying but shows up with the proper documentation is going to have a stronger opportunity to win. And those who are reactive and emotional try to land those emotional blows to get you to react.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be prepared. And it's almost as if people would need some kind of workbook, some kind of inspiration, some kind of guide to be able to get them ready for the entire process. If only such a guide existed. But it does.
It does.
Some people might look at this as shameful self-promotion. I really don't care. Matteo, what you and I have done with this project so far is to give everybody the opportunity, regardless of income level, to be prepared. So we've got the podcast, which obviously is free as long as you have an internet connection. The school community, where people can go and get information and get guidance. And there's the one-on-one coaching. But through all that, there's the divorce playbook. Matteo, over 125 pages that guides absolutely everything when it comes to being prepared. It is a no-nonsense, no excuse document that If you want to get ready for divorce, you go through this and it becomes your Bible. Religious or not, it becomes your divorce Bible. The chapters that you're going to find in there guide you from picking your attorney to figuring out what you want to picking out a coach to, the documents that you need to prepare to absolutely everything. How to act on social media, who to talk to, who not to talk to. I firmly believe that this playbook, if you follow it, increases your chances of having a more positive outcome, a more positive outcome by at least 40 to 50%.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I mean, this book, it was developed over a substantial period of time based on experience, based on what's been seen, what we've gone through.
What law
There's
firms
so much.
ask for in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, there's so much. It's so packed with information that it would be foolish not to have something like this. Like we always say, the resources are everywhere, but we're not being resourceful. This is a resource that is a must. And I'm not just saying that because it's our playbook. This is real, guys. Like, this is an amazing tool to look at to get you on track, um, and get you to that finish line. Like you said, from A to Z, everything is in there.
From A to Z, from like a friend of mine likes to say, from soup to nuts, it's got everything in there. It guides you emotionally, it guides you strategically, it gets you absolutely everything that you need to be able to proceed through your divorce in the most strategic and intelligent way possible. And it tells you who to go to for your emotions. It tells you who to go for the legal aspect. It tells you how to prepare. It even shows you how to start dating again once everything is over.
Love that part.
It shows you all the pitfalls that people take. It shows you all the strengths that people, exhibit when they're trying to go through this. At the end of the day, we have a playbook for people that will build their strategy, will teach them how to go get the max that they can, how to behave in court, how to behave online, how to behave behind the scenes. I kid you not. Had I had this playbook through my first divorce, I would have saved upwards of 25,000.
More. I say more.
Trying to stay conservative, right? I don't want to make this as like the Bible of all Bibles, but when I look at the preparation and everything that I needed and choosing, look, I chose the right attorney even though he was expensive, but my strategy I know could have been better. Custody, the fighting, the reactions, there was so much that I could have done better and saved money on.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the risk? We're talking about a playbook that, is about what, 25 US, 20 US? It's $30 Canadian. If people use the promo code playbook, they get 15% off on the thing on top of it all. And it's something that you carry with you to prepare for your divorce. Who wouldn't want guidance on what to prepare for their divorce? Who wouldn't want guidance on what to do and say online? Who wouldn't want guidance on how to act in court? Who wouldn't want guidance on how to choose their team? Who wouldn't want guidance on who it is that's going to be in their corner and who's going to be on the outside looking in? Who wouldn't want guidance on how to set up your strategy for the best success possible when it comes to custody?
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't want guidance on how to start their next chapter?
Divorce isn't a disaster. It's data. And the prepared parent, they don't panic. They position. And having this book, having this guide will help you, in my humble opinion, to be in the best possible position when you're going through one of the hardest things that you will be going through in your life.
Marriage is love. Divorce is business. And the divorce playbook is your business plan.
Love it. Love it.
We don't have to eternalize on this, Matteo. Marriage is love. Divorce is business. And the divorce playbook is your business plan. You followed, and it covers so much, all the way down to terms that people would never expect. Intentional impoverishment. Really, well, what does that mean? It means that when you're looking at child support, is your ex lowering their income just to lower their child support payments?
Mm-hmm.
What is your what is the evaluation for your potential, like your earning potential? It's another one. There's intentional impoverishment, but then there's earning potential. How much could you be making as this? Right? And I'll use an exaggerated example. So I'm a doctor, I make $200,000 a year. I'm like, there's no way I'm paying child support on that. So I'm going to go work at McDonald's and flip burgers. Well, you can. But if we ask the judge to get involved and say, well, you were making 200K before, now you're down to 50K, but you have the potential of earning 200K.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your child support is going to be based on 200K. You can't live off the 50K with that child support payment. That's on you. And this is a lot of crap that we see online, right, Matteo?
Oh,
I can't afford child support. Did you have a good lawyer? Did you fight enough for your kids? Did you present the right numbers? Everything is in the playbook. Everything gets you set to ask the right questions. It is not legal advice. Again, the divorce playbook is not legal advice, but it is there to push your thought process and your planning and your strategy to get the most out of this that you can. So, folks, today is a shorter episode. It's, we really wanted to push the divorce playbook, the information, and everything that it can do to help you. Does it require a little bit of an investment? Absolutely. Again, use the promo code playbook, you'll save 15%. You can continue listening to our podcast for free advice. But Matteo, would you agree in saying that having this by your side as you're planning, as you're going through the process, it's going to allow you at the very least to think of things that maybe you would have never thought of on your own?
without question. without question, I wish this was developed because it wasn't around when I went through it, when you went through it. I wish there was something like this available. I would have paid thousands of dollars for this if it was available because I made many costly mistakes. So, unequivocally, this playbook is worth every dime and beyond. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you to have a look at the playbook, go through it. It's going to help you go through the hardest stage in your life and get you to the other side. Uh, yeah, get the book,
And
guys.
and this was created from a place of love, from a place of experience, not only just through my divorces, but the people that I've helped, the stories that I've heard from family law attorneys. We put all of that together into one document to help you, and it's beneficial. It's you'll go through it. Will you need every single chapter? Maybe not, but you're going to go through that and feel more empowered about your strategy, more empowered about how you're moving forward through your divorce. And our hope is that it guides you to a higher level of success. So, yourdivorceplaybook.com, you can go online, get it, playbook as a promo code, you get 15% off. And I'd love to hear afterwards how this impacted your life, how this impacted your strategy. Feel free to share it with your attorney and have them look at it, and they'll tell you what the value is of it. But I will end it with saying, out of $116,000 that my divorce cost me, this would have easily saved me 25. So when we talk about, for those of you who know business, ROI, return on investment, 20, $30 to save 25 grand. Yeah, I'd take that bet.
All day long, all day long. For
So
me,
folks,
it wasn't. For me, it wasn't the financial piece. For you, it was. For me, it was the custody aspect of it and just how everything played out. And having this playbook I would have had a completely different strategy. I would have taken the emotion out. Would have been way more prepared. There's something about this book that when I even go through it, it makes you, even if it's certain things are just reminders, but it makes you pause and you're like, "Ooh, I knew this, but I didn't see myself actually doing the opposite. I knew I shouldn't do this, but here I am doing it. Wait a minute, I shouldn't do this." And it just gives you that pause. It gives you that time to reflect and go in a different direction.
yeah, you saying you speak about strategy, I speak about strategy as well, but I want to show the financial impact of it as well. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's overall, it's just, we've created something powerful. We've created something that's a game changer. And we know without the shadow of a doubt that it can help absolutely everybody. So, folks, the Divorce Playbook on our website, yourdivorceplaybook.com. Go check it out. If you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer. We're going to continue to bringing other content. In the next episode, we're going to be having a guest. I'm not going to reveal the information just yet. The promotions are going to come out on it soon, but now we're going to start incorporating different people into the podcast that are going to bring you different perspectives, that are just going to bring you even more power to your strategy as you get through this journey and on your way to your next chapter.
I'm really excited. Excited about our
Absolutely.
next step.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. On behalf of Matteo, I'm Gio. This is Divorce Real Talk, and we look forward to continuing to bring you more strategy, more wisdom, and more power to your divorce journey.
Have a great one, guys and girls.